Welcome. Today, I'm going to be showing you MX Linux 21.2.1 Wildflower that just had its last release September 18th this year, 2022. MX Linux is a distribution of Linux based on both Debian Stable and Antex Linux. Antex Live USB system is integrated into MX Linux and makes it fast, lightweight, and easy to install systemd-free Linux Live distribution of Debian Stable. It takes the best qualities of Debian's stability and compatibility and it integrates it with Antex's lightweight, low requirements and gives you the ability to refurbish older, slower computers into fast, lean computing machines. MX Linux 21 is called Wildflower and was originally released on October 21st, 2021, with 4 subsequent releases since then. It uses XFCE as the default desktop, but also offers KDE and Fluxbox editions as options. Since last year's initial release, it has stayed with Linux kernel 5.10, but updated the AHS kernel to 5.18 for the best hardware support. Overall, you'll find MX Linux a mid-weight distribution that is designed for efficiency, stability, simple configuration, solid performance, portability, and elegance. MX Linux has been extremely popular over the past couple of years. Throughout 2021, it was rated one of the most popular and most downloaded Linux distributions, and that hasn't changed much in 2022. DistroWatch continues to rank it as the #1 distribution people are downloading. Last year, several sites published very positive reviews of this distribution and felt confident that its popularity was justified. FOSSPost even went on to call it the best Linux distribution of 2021. Now, this all sounds too good not to try at this point, right? So, let's have a look together. I'm starting on the assumption that you've downloaded the ISO file from mxlinux.org and clicked the download button. You'll of course have the option of downloading the XFCE, KDE, or Fluxbox version. Then use something like Rufus to create a bootable USB drive with that ISO file. You can of course use that ISO in a virtual environment like I am here actually currently. Either way, you'll come to a screen that looks like this, where you simply click the first option where it says MX 21.2 to live boot into the OS. Be patient. It does take a little longer to boot from an ISO than it does after it's installed. There we go. Now we're running MX Linux Live off of your USB storage drive, or virtual machine, without having to commit to installing it. You can simply kick the tires and test the OS like this, or you can continue on with a full install to give it a proper try. Let me show you how easy it can be. Let's close this welcome window first, then simply double click the installer. If you're in the US, you can accept the default layout. If not, change your keyboard settings, then click next. On the next screen, it'll show you your storage devices, allow you to select the one you want, format, install using the entire disk or part of the disk. You can also customize your disk layout to your choosing if you know what you want. If you wish to encrypt the drive, you can do it on this screen also. I'm using a virtual machine with a predetermined size, so I'm going to use the default entire disk option for this example. It will now format the drive and install the files to your internal storage device. This can be faster or slower depending on the speed of your drive and your USB device. So while this copies the files, you can create a computer name and you can choose a domain or a work group. This way, you can share files or even play games over your network. Make sure the Samba server is checked. That's what allows you to see and communicate with Microsoft devices on your network. This should be self-explanatory. Where do you live and what's your time zone? Now, create a username and a password. This will be your login for MX Linux. If you just want it to log in automatically every time, you can select the checkbox Auto Login. You should select the root checkbox and create a password. Make this different password than your user because the root user has access to everything and you want to be security conscious and not have the same passwords to both. Certain changes to the system will require this password at times. Also, if you've played with the live version already and you made changes that you like, select that Save Live Desktop Changes and it'll make those changes or those modifications for you during the install. Now, you just wait for the installation to complete. Click Finish, remove the USB drive, and reboot. There it is, our boot screen. We are now booting from our internal drive and the default is selected. Click it with the mouse, hit the enter key, or just wait about 10 seconds to start MX Linux for the first time, fully installed. You'll then be brought to the login screen with the defaulted username you created during the installation. That is, if you didn't select the automatic login during installation. You can create multiple users just like any other OS and select them from the drop-down. I'll keep my DT user selected because it's the only one I created at the moment. Now, just enter that user password you also created during the installation and hit enter. You notice how my screen is a little smaller than the full size of the desktop? Since I'm using a virtual machine to show this process, it gets confused on my resolution, so my login screen is small until it fully boots and loads the graphics drivers. Alright, if you see your desktop at this point, you did everything correctly. You now have MX Linux 21.2 up and running. Before I finish this video, let me leave you with a few tips just to get you started from here. If you right click on the desktop and select Desktop Settings, you'll see a bunch of cool wallpaper. Try selecting something different. I prefer something a little darker, and they have a few good options here. When you decide you're done, you can log out or shut down by clicking the green icon in the top left-hand corner for options. Want to browse the web? Firefox browser is already installed as the default web browser, so give it a go and make sure you have internet access. If you don't have internet access, check your network cable or select your Wi-Fi network SSID and authenticate to get you connected. Do you want to set up some folders and a file structure to save your documents? Just click the file cabinet icon below Firefox. Lastly, and most important, update your new system. There are a bunch of icons in the bottom left of the screen. Find the package icon and click it. This will open the MX Linux Updater. It will show you all the new updates your system should install. So just simply click the bottom middle button that says Upgrade, type that root password you created, then agree to the list of updates by typing the letter Y and hitting enter. Now, just sit back and wait as the updater does its job. Well, that's it for now. I hope you found this helpful, and thank you for stopping by. Hope to see you soon. Take care.